use my platform to speak up about the injustices that my very close family face.
Okay, so before I say what I want to say, I just want to clarify absolutely no hate to this creator. I just want to chip something in. And that's just because I think we should all be more sensitive, right? And I get the video had a good intention. I get that. She has her reasons and she clarified those reasons. However, there's a very thin line between stating your reasons and simply tokenizing your children, your spouse, your friends, whoever of color in conversations when it's about racism and or your motivation to talk about racism or your own whiteness or inherited racism or white supremacy, etc. You get the point. And I get 100% I get that in, I would say, 9 out of 10 cases, our spouses, children, or close friends were the inspiration and are also the motivation as to why we continuously speak up. So you want to think, right? But that's not enough. That's not enough. And that's just what I want to say. As a whitey person, you should never, ever, ever justify being aware and empathic towards racism and the living realities of BPOC, generally, globally, just because your family is black or your family members, friends, spouse, children are black. Because that in return means if your family friends, children, spouse were not black, you wouldn't give a fuck. Which I'm not saying you technically wouldn't give a fuck, but your reasoning should be humanity and decency, not your family. I get that that's your motivation because you want a better world for your children, for your spouse. You want them to not experience racial profiling, etc., etc. Okay? That can be your motivation. That can be the reason you keep on going because when you look at them, you want better for them. You want them to be safe. You want them to grow up in peace with representation, etc., etc. But your reason from the depth of your soul should be humanity. Never ever your children. And I know that there will always be somebody that says, oh, the reason and the motivation is the same thing. Not necessarily. They are not necessarily the same thing. Because I have friends on here that I know in real life that don't have no black spouse, that don't have no black children. But they are very, very aware, sensitive, and they continuously talk about racism and anti racism and their own whiteness. So you get the point? Because they know it's the right thing to do as a fellow human being, not because you happen to have black children. You can compare that with a man, for example, that has no idea about sexism, has no idea about male privilege. It's always the work of a woman that is going to kind of like, be that spark that's going to make him understand. And it is always, or in most cases, going to be the thought that one day he might have a daughter that is going to experience the same thing that women have been telling him they're experiencing. So sometimes they have daughters already, or sometimes they have spouses and they see it happening. So the motivation is a woman. The motivation to keep going and to do better is because women you love are suffering from that form of oppression. But that should not be your reason. Because if it is your sole reason, if these women are not in your life, that means you will not care or you might not speak up the way you should. So your reason in all types of speaking against all types of oppression should always be humanity, because we all deserve to be treated equally. We all deserve to be having the same chances, the same opportunities, social equity. We all deserve to be seen the same way, to live our lives with the same opportunities without the feeling or the fear of racial profiling, etc., etc. You get the point, right? So the reason, and I cannot stress this enough to all my fellow snowflakes, should always be humanity. Do not let your children be the reason you do something.